In early 1990s, a small Californian biotech company named Calgene decided to take on one of the agriculture's oldest enemy, the short shelf life of humble tomato. Yes, a humble red tomato. Farmers and sellers had always faced the problem that tomato ripened quickly, became soft, and spoiled before they could reach supermarket shelves in their best condition. And to solve this, Calgene scientists didn't took long way to just breed a hardier variety using traditional method. Instead, what they did, like a watchmaker tinkering with tiny gears, they went into tomato genetic code itself to make it last longer. What they created came to be known as flavor saver tomato, the first genetically modified crop approved for sale to the public. So, what they have done? Well, the science was simple in concept but revolutionary in practice. Normally, a tomato ripens because of enzyme called polygalacturonase, which break down the cell walls in the fruit, making it softer. So, Calgene's team decided to slow this process down. They inserted an antisense gene, especially a reversed copy of gene responsible for producing that enzyme, into the tomato DNAs. This acted like a silencer, reducing the amount of softening enzyme, which meant the tomato could stay firm and fresher for longer period of time, which make easy for it to store, transport, and then sell in the market. Flavor Saver tomato finally hit the US market in 1994. And since then, genetically modified crops have expanded far beyond tomatoes. Farmers now plant GM corns, soybean, cotton, and canola engineered to resist insect pest or survive herbicide sprays. If we look at geographical concentration, America are the undisputed hub for genetically modified crops, and USA, Brazil, Argentina, Canada together accounts for over 80% of all GM crop cultivation. Can you believe it? In comparison to that, India accounts for only 6% and only one crop, that is BT cotton, is cultivated in India. So question arises that why such a concentration in USA, Brazil, Argentina and Canada? Well, it can be said that these countries have a biotech friendly regulation. Also, a handful of corporations like Bayer Monsanto, Corteva, Syngenta, BASF dominates seed patents and sales. And these are based mainly in the US, Europe and China. These companies wield significant influence over agriculture policy making worldwide. These companies maintain close relation with policymakers, trade bodies, and regulatory agencies pushing for biotech friendly laws, faster approval processes, and intellectual property protection that safeguard their patents. Their financial power allows them to fund scientific studies, sponsor agriculture research, and shape public narrative in favor of GM crop adoption, often framing them as essential for food security and climate resilience. Though through an industry association, they coordinate lobbying campaign, influence trade negotiation, and even pressure developing nation via international agreement like WTO intellectual property rules, which ensures that regulation align with their commercial interest. And this same tactics they are trying with India. So now you understand why America is pressurizing India to adopt GM crops. India, with its vast agricultural land, huge farming population, and position as one of the world's biggest producer of cotton, soybean, and maize, represent a lucrative opportunity for US. Their agribusiness giants to expand sale of patented GM seed and related agrochemicals. By pushing India toward faster regulatory clearance and broader acceptance of genetically modified crop, Washington effectively advanced the commercial agenda of its seed and biotech corporation, ensuring royalty flows and long-term dependence on proprietary seed technology. This pattern you can clearly observe in bilateral trade talk, intellectual property agreements, and diplomatic channels where food security, climate resilience, and yield improvement are framed as shared priorities. In reality, however, the underlying driver is a market capture, securing India's integration into global GM supply chain, aligning India agriculture policy with US biotech standard, and sidelining domestic seed autonomy in favor of traditional corporate control. Well, India is resisting widespread GM crop adoption because of a combination of food security concerns, farmer dependence risk, biosafety debate, and political sensitivity too. So, India fears that allowing large scale cultivation of patented GM food crops could make it farmers dependent on foreign seed companies for every planting season, undermining the traditional practice of seed saving and exchange. There is also a deep concern over the long term environmental and health impact of GM crops, where critics pointing to biodiversity loss, potential cross pollination with native varieties, and emergence of superweed or pest resistance, which has been seen in many cases. So, America is looking at its corporate interests derived by greed of large corporate giant where money is everything for them, while India is trying to protect its farmers from these corporate leeches.